Well, hello YouTubers and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at this 21-piece auto ball joint press U repair remover tool installing master adapter for two-wheel and four-wheel drive kit. This is a 21-piece and you can pick these up anywhere from $64 to about $100 online depending on what company you want to go through. And as you can see here, we've got all these extra pieces that come with it. Pretty popular years and years ago, 10, 20 years ago. These things were $300 and $400. It's amazing just how prices have come down now since we have technology and ways to shop online. It just makes it a lot easier now. And we're going to open this up, look at it, and see how it made it to the old address here, and see how the case looks. And we'll take a look at each individual piece and see what it looks like and give you a good feel to see if this is the right tool for you. And as you can see, I'm scrolling through the candy store, if you will. We have anywhere from $63 to $65, and I've seen some of these go up to $85 and $95. Different companies making them, but I think they're all made at the same place. They're just outsourced and different people put their brand on them and their company logo, but you can see there's just tons and tons of them up there. 21-piece seems to be the pretty much common one there. I've seen some 30 pieces, but I think 21-piece will be just fine for what you need. And you can see I'm just going on and on and on. There's one for $136, 21-piece. This is a Master C frame press 2 for four-wheel drive. So basically it's a heavy duty for like a diesel truck or something. But I think what we're going to look at today should be fine for light autos and trucks. And I think this will be a pretty good deal for you. Especially if you want to go to the parts store and rent out tools that are already busted and broken, and you got to wait and wait until someone brings them back, and then you find out when they bring them back they broke something. So for the right price, I think you can own one of these and be happy, and it'll be around when you want it, and you don't have to depend on anybody else. So it's mainly for convenience. Maybe you're starting a YouTube channel, or you're just a do-it-yourselfer, or you have a car that you want to put some ball joints in, or you just like tools and you want to stock up on your tool list here. So we're going to take a look at this real quick and let you know what I think, and hopefully you'll like it, and maybe this is just right for you, especially for the price. Okay, so here we go, and it is pretty heavy. I've just pretty much got the whole camera here set up where you can actually see it in the shot. So it's a pretty big package, probably 3 feet by 2.5 feet. So go ahead and disconnect here, do some cutting, get this out of the way. We got I'm hoping that it made it okay. Like I said earlier in my earlier videos, sometimes the packaging don't quite make it, especially when you have heavy tools like this. The cases like to get busted up a little bit. And let's see, oh, there we go. All right, we'll pull it out of the case. Well, it's just in a box, no other packing. And this thing is really heavy. Oh, all right, so there we go. All right, so there's the case. Now let's see, which way should we try to open this? I wish they put a sticker up here to say up, bottom. So I assume, since this is rough, this is probably the bottom. And let me check the buttons here on the front. Yes, okay, this is probably the way it opens up. All right, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! All right, there it is. No paperwork. But I figure they expect you to know how to work this, right? So there it is. There's a look at it. Lots of pieces here. I would have thought I would have got some paperwork, but that's the way it is sometimes. But anyway, here's a look at it. Let's go ahead and pull some of these pieces out of here. This is really heavy, man. This thing can really just bust some ball joints loose. No problem there. And you can see we got this piece here. This is a really heavy duty one. You know, this is actually a lot bigger than the ones I used to rent at the parts store. The parts stores, the high brand name parts stores, their little C-clamp here wasn't quite this big. This thing here weighs probably 15 pounds. So this could really do some work. Remember, always grease these adjustment bolts up, because this is the key to make your tools last a lot longer. So we got that in there. We got a little pivoting pin here, which is kind of nice. All right, so we'll pull this off here real quick. pretty heavy holding this with one hand, 2 hands. All right, so that's off. Put that back in there, stick that over there. So we got these guys here. This is a pretty deep cup for big ball joints. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a ball joint job here in the next couple days. I'm going to be probably putting this to the test, using it a little bit. And there is that one. So we got some really big pieces here. Some of the ball joint toolkits that I've rented in the past don't even have pieces this big. So for the price, I think this is a really good deal. There's another big piece here. They do have a little oil on them to protect them so they don't rust. And we got another adjustment pin here, which is nice for this guy over here. You probably just swap these out here. Yeah, this is a different type. So this is a T-type, and this is just a regular type. So this is nice to have that. And let's see what else we got here in the old toolbox. We got some more pieces here. We got some little pieces here for some of the shallower ball joints that you need just to get started out. And this here cup makes it nice. You can actually put this on the top of this C-clamp here, shove your ball joint up in it to get it started. And we have a couple of these. We got one with a hole in it here, which is kind of nice. And what else we got here? We got another adapter here. I'm not sure what that one would be for, but there's so many different vehicles on the road nowadays. There's just so many different ways to take out ball joints, and I find sometimes I still have to grab a socket or make up a little bit of a ingenious way to finish that last step. But this here is a really good start here, I think, to get your job started, and I think it probably would even finish your job. And we got another cup there, a hole in it. And these here are probably 3 inches. These are fairly long, and these on the bottom here, these are a good 4 inches deep. So really deep cups. And let's see what we got up here. We got a couple of these guys here, very heavy. And I think these are, this one's a inside, got a little groove cut here in it, so you can actually put this over a bolt or a nut if you have to make it kind of sit right. And there's that. So very nice set. I was surprised not to see any paperwork, but the case looked like it made it okay, which is really shocking. Pretty heavy case. The latches here are kind of cheap. Let me get the old magnet. Let's see. Well, yeah, pretty good metal there. So I imagine this is forged steel, so everything is sticking really good. If it was aluminum, it wouldn't be doing this. So I don't think there's any cheap steel in this. I think it's probably set up fairly nicely. These pieces are really heavy. Oh, there we go. There we go. Come on, you can do it. There we go. And let's check this here out. This is the lifeblood of the whole kit right here. This thing is pretty heavy. I don't know if it's going to hold it or not, but get the idea. It's pretty heavy. So I think this is going to be in great shape. Remember, oil these all the time. And let's see about this piece. There's no way this is going to hold this. Let's see. This thing is so heavy, but so you can hear the clanging. Very heavy duty. So I'm really surprised for this amount of money you can get something like this. Years and years ago, something like this would have been $300 or $400. So, well, there's a quick look at it. I will be using it in the next week or so, and I may pop it out real quick and show you how it's operating. But lots of pieces here, and on the inside we got 3 of these. If I didn't show you those, so. Alright, so there it is. Overall, I'm kind of glad I got this because I went to order a ball joint kit a couple weeks ago and they sold those out, so I was able to grab this one. And a lot of times, like I said earlier, if you go to the parts store and you try to rent one of these, a lot of times they're busted up. But at least now you have this in your garage and you can loan it out to some of your friends. And let's see, close this back up. And there we go. Look at it. So this whole case, if I were to guess, probably a good 20 pounds. It is pretty heavy. So there you go. There's a nice look at it. So hopefully you like this video. I may pop a clip of work that I'm going to be doing on a vehicle and let you know how this works out. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so here we go. That's my setup. Got a big cup here, and I got actually the tool resting on the ball joint because the problem is there's not a lot of room in this particular spindle here, which is kind of odd. Most of the time you have a lot of room here, but this should work, so we'll go ahead and see if we can get this loose. I'm using a big socket on the end of it here, a 7/8, and there we go, it's going. I don't know if you can see it or not there, but alright, so that's about as far as I can get that. The problem with vehicles nowadays, each manufacturer makes their own tool for a ball joint or whatever. If you buy a universal ball joint kit, it's hard to sometimes to make things work the way you want. So see, it's partially out, and this is what I used. So it worked pretty good and held up pretty nicely. So I think I can just take a hammer and knock the rest of that out there. Probably make it a little bit easier. Yep, there she went. Flying across the floor. Let me go get it. Alright, so there it is. Hear that? Not good. So you can see right here, this is the problem you get into sometimes. So what I'll do is put the other ball joint in, the new one. I'll grease this up really good, and I'll get it in most of the way and probably just tap it in with a hammer, and we'll be done with this side. So so this worked pretty good. Alright, so we're putting the ball joint in. There's the new ball joint. I got some grease on it. This is a little sketchy. This side's no problem. This side's the problem because the ball joint is actually bigger than this piece back here. And if you notice, there's really not a lot of room. So we're going to push it in as far as we can, which is not going to be too far. Right about there. And I think we can just take a big socket and a hammer and drive it the rest of the way on there, because these actually go in pretty easily. So take that off here and I'll show you what I mean. Now, I've seen this a couple of times on other vehicles. You can see how it's kind of started, and right here where the ball joint comes up, it hits the tool. I don't really have a tool that'll fit on there. I've got one that'll fit on there, but the problem is right back here in the back. You see how this is out this way? It actually will keep this, when this ball joint gets pushed up, the tool is still going to hit right here on the ball joint. So there's not a lot of room in the back. On the sides, it's no problem. So we'll go ahead and knock it in best way we can. Okay, so there we go. The 21-piece ball joint tool set really helped me out. I got the ball joint in, little engineering, but you know, I got it in. And I think it was well worth what I paid for it. And you can see all I got to do now is put it back together, and it's done. If I would have taken this car to a shop, it would have been about $600 to do 2 ball joints. I bought these ball joints online, like I said, for about 30 bucks, and I'm just doing it for a little bit of sweat. And of course, I've got about $60 into the tool set, and it's already paid for itself. So win-win all the way around. Okay, so we'll kind of set everything back in here. I'll clean this up here in a little bit. So I'm glad I actually got to use this, and it'd been cool if I'd had more pieces, but I don't think if I'd had more pieces, I still would have been able to do what I wanted to do, because like I said, manufacturers design cars now where they want to sell you their own specific tools. But other than that, I think this is well worth the money. And if you like this video, and if you're going to buy one of these kits, let me know in the comment section below. And subscribe and like and all that. Let me know where you're watching from. And until my next video, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.